A brief history of Ireland. When talking about the history of nations, much of the histories involve a good deal of tragedy, a good deal of violence, a good deal of sadness. When one looks at the history of Ireland, I would suggest that things always seem to be worse. Levels of poverty, the political and economic tragedies of the country always seem to be a bit worse in Ireland than in other countries. There is a sense of great unhappiness in this history for reasons that I will try to argue. I mention this particularly at the outset because many of us, particularly those who are not Irish, have fallen prey, if you will, to the stereotyping of a people. All peoples have stereotypes of themselves, certainly, and to the outside world, certain images, which often blind us to a harsher reality. In the case of Ireland, to be talking about leprechauns, to be talking about an Irish twinkle in someone's eye, or things of that sort. Think of American movies of the 30s and 40s of all the corner cops being Irish cops with their brogue and their good-natured, happy countenance and all of that. Images of the peat and the bells and all of these kinds of things create this kind of innocence of stereotype. Stereotypes always have elements of truth in them, to be sure, but still, to become an image of a nation's history certainly brings a blind spot, to put it mildly. Let us go back in time, and I will go back to early tribal societies in Ireland, going back to prehistoric times, back to the time of the beginnings of the Christian era, and Christianity, and Catholicism specifically, will play a major role in Irish history. St. Patrick, who died in the year 461 AD, is the first to bring Christianity to Ireland. And that Christianity will become entrenched as opposed to the various religions that existed in the tribes of that country previously. It's a vigorous Christianity. It's a Christianity that will be very imposing and very controlling, if you will, on Irish history consequently. The history of Ireland also involves invasion of this island nation. Invasion that was violent and had strong implications as part of this tragic history. The Vikings, coming from Scandinavia in the 8th and 9th centuries AD, and leaving their mark, not least of which is the image that we have of red-haired Irish, comes from that Viking legacy. But the main invader, if you will, who had such a profound effect on all of Irish history, was England, from the island of Great Britain next door. And England will take control of Ireland, and this is many centuries ago that we're speaking of, and hold the Irish population in a kind of peonage. That is to say that an absentee English aristocracy will for centuries control most of the land of Ireland itself. And by peonage, I mean a virtual slavery. Think of American history, think of the American South and the black slave population. That is not so far removed from the English control over the Irish for many centuries. And in fact, one might argue that taking the story, as we eventually will, into the 20th century, if you look at artistic renditions done by the English of the Irish, you have images that look subhuman. Short, bent over.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?